thank you, and I give the floor to the Center for Inquiry.
Madam Vice President, last month, Raif Badawi, who founded a Saudi website dedicated to fostering debate on religion and politics, and called on his country to respect freedom of religion, belief, expression and women's rights, was charged with insulting Islam. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, 1,000 lashes, and a fine of 1 million Saudi riyals. Badawi was first jailed for 7 years in 2012 for violating Saudi Arabia's IT law and insulting religious authorities through his online writings and hosting those of others on his website. In a separate case, Mr. Badawi's lawyer, Walid Abu Al-Khair, was jailed for his human rights activism. Mr. Badawi is a prisoner of conscience, who is guilty of nothing more than daring to create a public forum for discussion and peacefully exercising the right to freedom of expression. Corporal punishment,
I have to interrupt.
Such as flogging.
I have to interrupt you. There is a point of order. There is a point of order, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, you have the floor for the point of order.
شكرا سيد النائب الرئيس. إننا نرى أن ما تطرقت إليه هذه المنظمة خارج نطاق التقرير وخارج نطاق الولايات جميعها في هذا الموضوع، حيث لم يتطرق التقرير إلى موضوع رائف بدوي، فنرجو إفهامها وإسكاتها عن ذلك. وشكرا للسيد نائب الرئيس.
I see United States.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We highlight that the United States firmly believes that accredited NGOs must be permitted to speak in the Council. Though member states, including the United States, may occasionally disagree with the content of NGO statements, it is essential that civil society voices be heard in an atmosphere of open expression. Without addressing the substance of the speaker's statement, we are of the opinion that what we have heard in the intervention so far is indeed addressed to the subject matter at hand before the Council, which is item 4, human rights situations that require the Council's attention. Madam Vice President, we respectfully ask for you to allow the speaker to finish her presentation. Thank you.
I thank you. I see Ireland.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, and very much along the lines of the United States who have just spoken, we think it's important to respect the rights of NGOs to take the floor, to express their views, irrespective of our position on the substance of the statement. We believe that statements shouldn't be interrupted on the grounds that an NGO mentions concrete examples of human rights violations where there's a link to the agenda item, and we think that's the case in this situation. We ask you to allow the NGO to finish her statement. Thank you.
I thank you, and I give the floor to France.
La France attache beaucoup d'importance au respect du droit à la parole des ONG au sein du Conseil des droits de l'homme, comme cela a été prévu dans le paquet institutionnel du Conseil. Je rappelle que les ONG doivent pouvoir s'exprimer dans les conditions qui sont prévues, quelle que soit leur position sur le fond. Elles doivent pouvoir contribuer aux travaux du Conseil et leurs interventions ne doivent pas être interrompues. Je vous remercie.
I thank you, and I give the floor to Canada.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I'll be very brief. Canada agrees with the statements that have been made by the United States, by Ireland, and by France. We firmly believe that accredited NGOs must be permitted to speak at the Council, and we believe that this NGO should be permitted to finish their statement. Thank you.
I thank you. I just would like to point out that this is the agenda item 4, during which speakers are expected to raise issues or comment on human rights situations that require Council's attention, including a human rights situation at a country level. Therefore, I would give the floor back to the speaker.
Thank you. Corporal punishment, such as flogging, violates laws set by the Convention on Torture, which prohibits torture or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. We call on Saudi Arabia, as a newly elected member of this Council, to release Raif Badawi immediately and unconditionally, and drop any pending charges against him and others for blasphemy, insulting Islam, or apostasy.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. I have a point of order. Saudi Arabia.
سيد النائب الرئيس، نصر في وفد المملكة العربية السعودية على توضيح أن ما تقوم به هذه المنظمة من اتهامات لبلادي غير مقبولة، ونحن نرفض أن يتم التطرق لهذا الموضوع في هذا البند. شكرا سيد النائب الرئيس.
ICUS.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. I would like to reiterate that we firmly believe accredited NGOs must be permitted to speak in this Council. We understand the scope of item 4 to be broad. We believe it is appropriate to use specific examples or countries as relevant examples of the issues that we are discussing. Madam Vice President, we would respectfully ask for you to allow the speaker to finish her presentation. Thank you.
I thank you. I should repeat that it is the practice in the Council that a specific situation of concern to participants is brought to the attention of the Council, and I would encourage the delegation of Saudi Arabia to use the right of reply in order to address the statement. Now I would ask the speaker to continue with her statement.
Thank you. As an elected member of this Council, Saudi Arabia is obliged to uphold the highest standards in the promotion and protection of human rights and fully cooperate with the Council. If it is to retain any credibility as a member, we urge it to reform its laws so as to protect freedom of religion,
Saudi Arabia, you have a point of order?
شكرا السيد نائب الرئيس. أحب أن أوضح أن المملكة العربية السعودية لا تقيم من منظمات، وقد دخلت إلى عضوية هذا المجلس بإجماع كثير أكثر من 160 دولة من دول العالم. شكرا سيد نائب الرئيس.
I thank you. Now I would like the speaker to continue with her statement.
Thank you. If it is to retain any credibility as a member, we urge Saudi Arabia to reform its laws so as to protect freedom of religion, belief and expression, cease the use of corporal punishment, and repeal Article 1 of its Interior Ministry's decree defining atheism as terrorism. Thank you.
I thank you for your statement.